So this video is going to be a little bit different from my usual videos. It's going to be raw, and it's going to be probably the most personal video I've made to date. And I'm making this because it's a necessary follow-up to my last video on self-love. Because our journey into self-love is not complete unless the wounded child within us is healed. So many of us have suppressed that part of us in order to survive into adulthood. But in order to claim the fullness of our freedom and empowerment, that pain gets to heal. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the very moment that my inner child was healed in a powerful and unexpected way. See, I thought I had done all my inner child healing work because I've been working on it for so long. And then suddenly I found myself coming face to face with one of the most beautiful and liberating experiences. This experience demonstrated to me the incredible power of divine love that is within you and me at all times, and how breakthroughs can be instantaneous, transforming our stories of pain that we've held on to for so long into one of freedom, strength, and the completeness of love. If my story can help you make sense of what's happening within you and what's possible when this inner child healing happens, then that's my greatest intention for this share. If this topic resonates with you, please hit the like and subscribe, as it really helps me know what you're interested in, and it also helps this video reach others who may really need to hear this important message. Thank you, and let's begin. So this story takes place about 2 years ago. And exactly 2 years ago, I was working on some heavy projects. I was working on a project to support the mental health of children who have been sexually abused, and also working on ways to help prevent the violence, this horrific violence that so many children around the world are susceptible to. So it was a lot of heaviness. And I remember for a few days, maybe it was like 2, 3, or 4 days, I just sat there, and for hours at a time, tears would just stream down my face. And I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was. I thought it might have to do with these projects that I was working on or personal reasons, but I couldn't pinpoint it. It just felt sad. And it wasn't like I was sitting there crying. It was like just tears coming down my eyes. So one day I called my spiritual mentor and I asked her, what could be going on here? I shared with her what I was going through, and she said, stay with it. Allow whatever it is to come to the surface. Allow it to come to the surface. So after a few days of this continuing to happen, with me having no clear answers, I put myself through a process that I use for deep emotional healing or to unblock physical blockages or pain. It's a process that I've been trained to do with my clients, and I've seen powerful results happen with this. And so I thought, okay, let me administer this to myself, what I call spiritual surgery, going within and seeing what is really going on inside of me. And it takes a lot of courage to do this, because sometimes there are things in there that doesn't feel so great, right? And it can put up a lot of resistance. So I laid down on the bedroom floor and I started doing some deep breathing exercises to settle my mind and move into my body. And then I go into my body to identify where I feel the block, the pain, or the resistance. And I identified it in my stomach area, and I just observed it, observing the presence, the size, the shape, the color. How does this feel? Where is it? Just moving around the contours of this feeling. And then the process involves surrounding this area with deep love and acceptance. And sometimes as we do this, we might start to identify with the pain, but it's so important that we detach ourselves, almost looking at it scientifically. Don't get emotionally pulled into the feeling, because then we lose the sense of truth around this. So I surround this area with a deep sense of love and acceptance, because in order to move through any pain, love has to occupy the space where we feel the pain. That is what breaks up the pain. And then came the challenging part, where I go in to that place of resistance and pain. And in doing so, I ask God to be with me, because it's too hard to do this part alone, right? You're moving in to what is decades of pain and resistance. So I'm asking God, come in with me. I can't do this without you. It's too difficult without you. Please come in so I have your strength, your wisdom, your light, and your power to help bring love into the space. And with each breath I take, I breathe in love, I breathe in light, I breathe in God, and expansion into this space. Of course, I'm met with strong resistance and discomfort. This is the hard part, but I stayed with it, keeping breathing through the tension, bringing love in through the tension to help melt and ease this tension. And this is where something truly unexpected happened, something that I was not expecting. While laying down, doing this breathing and visualization process with my eyes closed, my 5-year-old self just emerged in front of me. And he looked scared, he looked sad, and he looked lonely. And surrounding this child was the familiar messages, the familiar story that I have been telling myself with decades, that this is a hurt child, right? All the words that the adults around me had yelled at me, all the ways in which I didn't feel loved, all the pain or hurt that I experienced as a child, all those memories that I experienced as a child were swirling around this sad, frightened, and scared child. And these words were like a drone of incessant just negativity, heaviness. And I realized at this moment, wow, this is what I'm still carrying inside me, this sad, scared child with this unhealed narrative swirling around it. I had suppressed it down. I thought I had worked it out, but no, it was still there. No wonder this feeling was so heavy. This is what was coming to the surface. It was me as a 5-year-old. And I'm still breathing through this, breathing in love into this swirl of negativity of I am not loved, I am not good enough, I am not worthy, I am not this, I am not that. My adult caregivers weren't there for me. I didn't receive this, that, or the other, swirling around me. And I'm breathing, love, truth, into this deep pain. And then something incredible happened. See, the more I breathed in love and divine support, the inner narrative became quieter and quieter. The more I breathed in, the voices started to change. And all of a sudden, I heard a different set of voices. And this set of voices started to say wonderful things. But we supported you. But we loved you. But we provided for you. But we ensured that you grew up to be a wise man. We gave you housing. We gave you shelter. We gave you everything you needed to grow into who you are today. And I wondered, who is this we? What is this voice? And as these voices swirled, voices of support, voices of encouragement, voices of truth, as it swirled around me, the other voices of negativity, the narrative I've been holding on for so long, started to diminish. And I thought, who is this we? But it was clear this we was the divine. It was God saying, I've loved you in every moment. Through everything you've been through, I have loved you. And the chorus grew louder and louder, blocking out any other narrative until the voice of love and support, only those voices were present. And as these voices drowned out every other voice, I saw my 5-year-old self happy for the first time, joyful, smiling, rejoicing. For the first time, I've never had a memory of this child being a happy child, but now I'm seeing this face to face myself as a 5-year-old happy. Because the truth of God's love is so powerful that it outshines any other narrative that might be holding you back. See, for decades, I've been carrying around the heaviness inside of me. And in this moment, I was free of that. Nothing changed in my history or my story, except the story that I was now telling myself. See, I could have kept telling myself this other story of pain that I've been holding on for years, but why? Why would I do that when now there is such a greater story that I was loved by the divine? And that truth set the pained, hurt, and scared child free. It set it free so that it could be the happy, loved, and empowered child it is today. So a few days later, I was on a business trip, and I was actually filming mental health videos in support of surviving children who have been sexually abused. And, so the topics were still heavy in what I was dealing with. And so I put on some music, some music with some nice upbeat, so I could start dancing around the room just to start feeling good before I headed out for the workday. And then as I was dancing around the hotel room, starting to feel a little bit good and, starting to vibe with the music, I think I had the Temptations on, and, those beats are so, good and contagious in their joy. And while I'm dancing around the room, I'm looking at the mirror and I'm kind of just like, grooving. And in my imagination, I see my 5-year-old self emerge again and start dancing and jumping around the bed and kind of like mimicking me. And we're just had this like little dance off on the bed. Again, this child was full of joy, happy as ever. I picked him up, I danced with him, we laughed, we hugged, we cried tears of joy. And this moment was almost like a reconfirmation that this child is truly healed, that this child is in a different place. And for the first time, I held this child and felt that joy that this child should have always felt in life. And so this reconfirmation, I still to this day, I think of this inner child. But now when I think of this child, even though for decades I thought of it as a sad child, whenever I think of him now, he's this happy child. And to this day, I still pretend, I'm going to hug you. I tell him I love him, I tell him he's happy with me. I'm going to protect him. I make sure he stays that happy, joyful child. Because that narrative is far greater than any other narrative. And one more thing I'll say is that, these experiences that I had, I didn't manufacture this. I didn't say I'm going to go in and have this inner child healing experience. It happened when I put myself through this process and I brought divine love's truth in with me to help illuminate what was really going on. That genuine intention created the experience. I didn't ask for my 5-year-old child to come up. It came up. Now, of course, it didn't physically show up, but I also didn't conjure up this imagination. And that's the beauty and power, that when you are ready to heal, and when your heart is asking for healing to the right place, to the ultimate source of healing and love, you will be given the experience you need to heal. I share my story so you know what is possible for you. And I have taken my experience and I've turned it into a step-by-step guided experience through which many of my clients have had incredible healing breakthroughs with. It's not just me. It's a replicable process now that I can share with others. And I'm so grateful others have trusted me to share this experience with them. See, inner child healing is one of the most liberating gifts that you can give to yourself. Self-love, confidence, success in your personal and professional life is magnified on the other side of this healing. So if this is something that you're looking to address in your own life, I'm here for you to support you through this process as a loving and trusted presence, because I know how delicate it can be. I'd love to hear from you, so you can reach out to me directly through my website, www.nowirise.com, or you can book a one-on-one session via the link in description. Thank you for being here, for your dedication to growth, for your wonderful support and helping me to grow this channel. Until next time, may peace and joy be with you. Okay, let's begin.